The modern white supremacy movement has roots in an event that the government denied happened for over 100 years. And it was all because poor white people and poor black people started working together and formed a new political party, the Fusion Party. The Fusion Party became wildly popular and they started flipping political office seats across the South. The policies of the Fusion Party were designed to increase the liberties of the working class, both black and white. They supported things such as capping interest rates and increasing public school funding. They also wanted to expand the right to vote to people that couldn't read or write. And they wanted to shift the burden of taxation to corporations and railroads. And because they were winning so many seats, this was actually starting to happen. But since the wealthy political elite couldn't address these issues, they decided instead to convince poor white people that they should never associate with black people in any way. They began a nationwide propaganda campaign to convince poor white people that black people were violent and a danger to white women. And so the entire goal of the political elites became to unite white people against black people. But the Fusion Party had the most success in North Carolina, specifically Wilmington, North Carolina. But that's where the success would stop and it would never recover, because this led to the only successful coup in American history. This happened in November of 1898, but the government denied it happened until the early 2000s. For over 100 years, if you went to the Wilmington Public Library and asked for information on this, they would say it was classified information. A mob of over 2,000 white men marched into Wilmington and overthrew the Fusionist government. Hundreds of people were killed, including the Fusionist political leaders. They also took over the city's black-owned newspaper and started printing their own news. The mob went down in history as the heroes, and they painted the black people of the city as the aggressors. And this all made nationwide news. The white people that took over North Carolina were white supremacists, and they began a nationwide propaganda campaign to make sure that black people never held public office again. They used the newspaper they took over to write up the White Declaration of Independence, and they declared to the entire nation the importance of white supremacy. Newspapers wrote that white people are the rulers of this country and that is a fact that should have been established long ago. They wrote that black people do not want to rule and they do not want to be equal with white people. And newspapers at the time wrote that the events in Wilmington was to assert the supremacy of the white man. The black people of the city were charged with inciting riots, and the white men that actually did incite the riots went down in history as the heroes of Wilmington. Their descendants are still wealthy and powerful, and their last names are still all over the town of Wilmington.